All right, we are back. Thank you for that the brief intermission. We wanted to make sure everything was all good so we can dive in. Now, it is time for us to dive into all of our big just picks. It's March Madness. We got to get things rolling here, and we want to make sure we have all of you guys chiming in on where we think some of these matchups are going to go. So that way we can, obviously, make sure we're giving you guys the best information possible to fill out your brackets. So here's where we're going with this. We're going to dive in. We're going to make our picks one by one. And so, we're going to take turns. Maybe I go on the first one. Scott starts first on the second one. And then we'll just kind of go back and forth.
I was hoping you would lead on every one so I could just follow you.
Oh, no. We're not doing that. That's not how this is running here. We are going to go back and forth. And so you guys can get an idea of what we think, and we'll have some insights here for you. So anything that you guys are doing to create the best bracket. I know there's, Jimmy. Who's that? Warren Buffett? Not Jimmy Buffett. Warren Buffett?
He says if anyone ever gets like a perfect bracket, he'll hook them up, right?
He'll hook them up, right? So that's the thing. Well, now we're going to get that perfect bracket, man. We're going to do it. We're going to go after it. Here's what we're going to do.
And it all starts with Norfolk State. Let's go.
Now, hey, is this going to be an upset in the first round right here, taking down the #1 overall seed in the tournament? I don't know, man.
Do you believe in miracles? I'll go first on this one, maybe.
Oh, no. You want to go first on this one, huh? Okay. Go ahead. What do you got?
And this is going to be a tight battle. I'm going to be a slight lean here. I'm going to go with Gonzaga in a nail biter. No. I think the Zags obviously are going to handle this game pretty easily. Top overall seed here. Not a lot to talk about. I mean, Gonzaga just got essentially, they just came out with the All-American teams, and Gonzaga had one player, Corey Kispert, on the first team All-American, and two with Jalen Suggs and Drew Timme on the second team All-American. So it's pretty insane. We talked kind of about that before, but it's a little ridiculous. They're basically saying that they have 3 of the top 10 players in the country on one roster. Gonzaga will roll here.
I'm going to go upset.
Yep, thought so.
Never. I'm repping my Gonzaga Bulldogs here. So, as far as this goes, there's no way I can choose against them. Now, this might be the best team that Mark Few has ever coached, as far as this goes, which is a strong statement considering he's coached some really, really solid teams in the past. 2 seasons after losing to North Carolina in the national title game in 2017, the Bulldogs have never had a group with this volume of talent, group depth, efficiency, 52% against the clip against man defense, 61% against the zone. I mean, there's nothing crazier than what they're doing right now. Jalen Suggs is their rookie. He's not even the best guy on this team. Corey Kispert has just been on fire. Drew Timme can be absolutely one of the best, low finishers in the game when it comes to finishing in the paint. Man, I would say this is hard to go against any team other than the Zags here. I'm going to go ahead and I suppose I'll pick the Zags to take this one. All right.
No guts, man. I thought you were going to pull the trigger on that. Norfolk State or Appalachian State. We don't even know who they're playing yet.
Ella Cola in the chat. Go Zags against who now? Never heard of them. Yeah, no, you won't need to hear any about it.
If you've never heard of Norfolk State and Appalachian State, I don't even know how to help you at this point. Those are some big programs right there.
So just
Appalachian State's obviously in the Appalachian Mountains, and Norfolk's in the city of Norfolk. So
yes,
I don't know what the problem is.
Now we're getting into some of the other games. Now how this is going to work. We're going to go to the left side of the bracket. And then it's going to go to the right side. So just keep that in mind. We're going to go first round, second round, third round, so on and so forth on the left side, then do the same thing on the right. So just keep in mind that's how this is laid out. Now, we got OU versus Missouri. Now, here's an 8-9 matchup. Now, Scotty, this is a little bit of a interesting one. I don't think there's going to be – I know who I'm going to pick, and I'm going to stick with going with OU in this. We're going to go Oklahoma. I think they have a little bit of an edge here. Now, this is 8-9 matchups are always interesting, right? Because it's always kind of like a coin flip if you think about it. Like, you just don't really. They could go either way. Both teams have a decent chance to win this game. Obviously, they're 8-9s, right? So as far as OU goes, I just think they have the edge here. Austin Reeves, 17.7, 5.7 rebounds, 4.7 assists, is a star for that team. He's made 36% of his three-point attempts overall, 31%. I think he's going to do some big things for them. As far as Missouri, they're largely hinged on, their non-conference wins, Oregon, Wichita State, Illinois. But I just don't know if they have really done anything down the stretch that I feel really confident in them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead. I'm going to pick OU and just take a little bit higher seed here and just lock them in.
All right. I'm wearing a hoodie that says Kansas on it. So by rule, I'm not allowed to pick Missouri. That just can't happen.
Okay.
Missouri likes to call it a rivalry. I'm not sure that it is. Not in basketball, at least. Even still, I think I agree. I mean, this spread on this game is 1 point, so it's basically a toss-up in Vegas on who the better team is. I think Oklahoma's favored by 1. Which is essentially nothing. You're right with Austin Reeves. The thing about Missouri is they have a weird way of they have like a 10 to 15 minute stretch in a game where they just flat out suck. Like they're really, really bad for like a 10, 15 minute stretch. I don't think they can afford to do that against Oklahoma. Oklahoma's a little more consistent offensively, I think, than Missouri is. And so I'm gonna take Oklahoma. Even if I thought Oklahoma was by far the worst team, I'd take Oklahoma because I cannot, by rule, pick Missouri ever.
Fair enough. All right, there you go. Locked in. All right, so next matchup here on the west side of the bracket. We're still in the west, guys. We have Creighton and USCB, the Gauchos. Yeah. What is a better mascot than the Gauchos?
I don't know what a gaucho is, but I really enjoy saying it. Like beware of the gauchos. Do you know what a gaucho is? Because I don't. I honestly don't.
I don't know necessarily, but if you know in chat, let us know what a gaucho is, because I don't necessarily know what a gaucho is.
Look at this mascot that just looks like a hat on a guy.
Some mysterious mariachi or something going on here. I don't know, but all I know is they're in the tournament and they're playing against Creighton. This is a 5-12 matchup, Scotty. This is one of those that you kind of have on your radar for upset central here. Do you have an upset with the Gauchos beating Creighton?
Oh, for sure I'm going Gaucho.
Okay.
Let's go. 5-12 matchup. I'm going the UC Santa Barbara Gauchos. They're solid defensively. They got a good guard in Ja'Cory McLaughlin, who put up 22 points in their Big West title game. Creighton's a great team. Creighton did get blown out by Georgetown in that championship. I don't know, what did they lose by, like 30? It was odd, to say the least. Creighton has a good point guard in Marcus Zagorowski, and then a good shooter, Mitch Ballack. But I don't know. I got a feeling here that the Gauchos will shoot it. What happens in these games is like they're just not used to playing the style that like a Gaucho team plays. I feel like the defense of the Gauchos is going to hold Creighton back. This is going to be a really close game, and I'm taking the Gauchos.
Oh man, give me some Gauchos. All right, locked in. Go Gauchos. Now, I'm going to go Creighton. Gotta go Creighton here. I'm not going to go with the 5-12 upset in this corner of the bracket. Now, you mentioned Marcus Zagorowski, 15 points a game, 41% from the three-point line. Unbelievable. His surrounded by a group that has made 57% of its assisted field goal attempts. Excellent. So as far as that goes, it's hard to go against a shooting team. Now, I know they just wet the bed against Georgetown. I don't think that they will carry that over. That was kind of a wake-up call. Here we go. Elacola. Gaucho is a skilled horseman. A skilled horseman. All right, we know. Thank you, Elacola.
Against a Blue Jay. Like, this is a mismatch.
By the way, I love when people pick based off of mascots or colors, or they do the whole like your dog picks a bull or whatever. There's all these different things, right? But hey, Gauchos, man. There it is. Google says that is Elacola. Yeah. Mayday, welcome back. Appreciate you joining us back in the lab. I know you were here last week. Love to see you back. Don't talk to me about Philly sports tonight. Uh-oh. I feel you. Mayday. Did the Sixers end up? I was gonna say the Sixers. They're still. I think they were giving up the lead back to when I checked the game last, but to the Milwaukee.
Maybe that's why. Oh, I did know they faced Milwaukee tonight.
Yeah, and that was a blowout at halftime, and then all of a sudden they crept back. So who knows? All right, my turn to pick here. I ended up picking the Blue Jays. I think Creighton will walk away with this one as that 5 seed. I don't think they're going to end up losing to the Gauchos. The skilled horsemen. Mayday lost in overtime. That's brutal. Sorry to hear that, man. They had that locked down. Sorry to say, Mayday, I had a small bet on Milwaukee tonight. So don't hold it against me. I promise. I didn't mean it. All right, I'm gonna go.
Nothing wrong without your MVP candidate to lose in overtime to Milwaukee. So they'll be fine, Mayday.
All right, so now we have the Virginia Volunteers versus the Ohio Wildcats. Now, Virginia came into this tournament getting knocked out by COVID in their conference championship, or conference tournament, I should say. Ohio, on the other hand, we talked about this on our last show, came in with a lot more momentum. They were, on fire coming in, and they're in a better place. Now, keep in mind, they are the lower seed here. I still think, in my opinion, that Ohio, even though they have, some solid guys, on the floor, John Preston's emergence has been the catalyst for this Ohio team. Preston, 16.6 points per game, 6.8 rebounds, 7.2 assists, 1.6 steals. I mean, 41% from the three-point line. Unbelievable from him. Bobcats lost to Illinois by 2 points in November, which that's a heck of you want to say a good loss? That's a good loss to be losing to just Illinois team who's potentially favored to be in the finals here. They're dangerous. But with that being said, if I'm looking at my bracket right here, it's Virginia. I got to go Virginia here.
Oh, man.
We're so going pathetic. Virginia.
Why are you even picking games? It sounds like you're just going chalk.
We're going.
You're just taking the higher seed.
Hey, it's going to work for me. Mayday, you're with me. Virginia by far in this game. See, we have some stuff going in our favor here. So I just think they have the edge here. I think if they can get past what derailed them in that first game, they're going to be able, if they can get a good solid win under their belt in the first round, they're back on track. They're just back on the railroad, just rolling down, and they're going to be in a good place. So I got Virginia. I think they're going to beat Ohio. Let's go.
Okay. So you basically spent the last 2 minutes telling everyone why Virginia was going to lose this game, and then you picked Virginia, just to be clear, right?
Yes, because they are going to be the better team in this game.
Listen, if they were fully healthy, normal circumstances, absolutely Virginia would be the better team here. but they're not like every team in the tournament right now is in Indianapolis except for Virginia. Virginia is still quarantined. They have not practiced this week. Their players have been separated from each other. They like to come in. I think they're going to travel out there tomorrow, I believe, and then get maybe a practice in on Friday before they play on Saturday. And not to mention, Ohio has the best player on the court in this game. Ohio has point guard Jason Preston.
He's good. He's good.
Jay Billis labeled the LaMelo Ball of this tournament.
LaMelo.
He can do it all. He's averaging 16, 7, and 7, and he's shooting over 50% from the field. Ohio, like you talked about, is battle tested, against, Illinois and other guys like that, barely losing those games. It's hard for me to pick a Virginia team that hasn't been able to practice this week, hasn't been able to, they squeaked out a huge win against Syracuse in a tournament on a last second three. Huge, I say, because Syracuse isn't great, but I don't know.
So you're going Ohio?
I'm going Ohio.
Let's go. Mayday in the chat. The Zags are losing to Iowa in the Elite Eight. We're going to get there, and no, it's not going to happen. I hope it doesn't happen, Mayday. I hope it doesn't. So we're going. So you got Ohio then in this one.
I do.
All right.
I do.
Here we go. Steph in the chat, in Facebook chat, Virginia will be well rested at least. What is that? This chili. What? Sorry, Steph. I can't read your message here.
It's your handwriting, Steph. It's your handwriting.
The chili isn't that thick. Chili isn't that thick. Okay. I think I know what that means. I kind of don't. But let me know. Facebook chat. Thank you so much, Steph, for popping in. Love that you're here. Let's see. So Ohio. Done. Okay. Now we have
Chris, real quick, switch me to the multi-stream on the chat on the right there if you could.
There we go.
Appreciate it. Then I can see their messages.
There we go. Ignore the message about chili trying to text my husband. Oh,
that was what the chili was about.
Steph, whenever you mix in the text with the husband, and I was like, chili, man. I maybe there's something with chili about that I'm missing on this last game that's breakdown that I'm like, man, maybe the chili isn't as thick.
You gotta have thick chili.
Exactly.
To win basketball games, you gotta have thick chili.
And Ohio has that thick chili, Scotty?
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Almost too thick.
Almost. Let's go. We're having a good time here. We got SC and we got the winner of Drake and Wichita State. Now, Scotty, lead us off. What do you got for us?
We'll see what happens in that Wichita State Drake game, because obviously that's going to impact. A lot of times, especially in college basketball, everything's about matchups. So it's about how you match up to a particular team. Regardless, in this one, I'm taking USC. I think USC's obviously got the superstar. Really, he was Pac-12 Player of the Year as a freshman. Super talented guy. He's not a stretch big like you'd think, but he's skilled, can pass, can shot block for sure. So he's a defensive presence. Excuse me. And Isaiah Mobley forms a really good 1-2 punch with him. Depending on who they play here, it's hard for me to go in depth about either of these teams. I don't know. Wichita State's been playing much better of late. I know that. We'll see what happens, but either way, I'm taking USC to move on here.
Yeah. So Mayday in the chat here, we got going with Drake or other team. I don't think USC has anything going for them. Now Drake's an interesting one here. After an 18-0 start, 9-0 in the Missouri Valley Conference, Drake finished the season with a 7-4 record. So, they're still, they didn't fall off. The wheels didn't fall off for Drake. I think they're still going to be one of those teams that are very competitive here. Shaquan Hemphill, missed 3 of those losses with a broken foot. He's the number 3 scorer on that team. So There's some different things that are going to be going for them as he's gotten better. Wichita State, yeah, like you mentioned, they're doing all right. Not the typical Wichita State that you would typically see in this instance. I'm with you. I'm going with USC. That's who I have written down on my bracket here. USC. I just think as far as that goes, Evan Mobley, he's going to be a potential number 2 pick in the NBA draft. 7-footer, averaging 16.4, 8.6 rebounds, 2.1 assists, 2.9 blocks. I mean, he just does it a little bit of everything here. Now, opposing teams have only made 42.4% of their shots inside the arc against USC. Top 5 nationally. So that being said, I think they have a good shot here. I'm going to go with USC, and we're going to lock them in for myself as well. So you have USC.
I do.
And I do as well. Let me go ahead, lock these in. SC. All right.
Just saw a pretty logo pop out there. So
it better not be the Kansas Jayhawks logo.
No, it's the Eastern Washington.
It must be Eastern Washington logo.
Mm-hmm.
So you are representing the Kansas Jayhawks here. Now, is it my turn to go first on this one?
It is.
Okay. So we got KU and Eastern Washington Eagles. So with this, Eagles, let me just make a case for them. We got the Eagles after a 3-6 start. Eastern Washington has gone 13-1 since January 21st. Tanner Grove, 6'9", 16 points a game, 8 rebounds, 1 block. Improved shooter, connecting 36% of his threes. Big Sky division. So, they're great. They're doing some good things here. Eagles have made 57% of their shots from Groves on the floor, with Groves on the floor, and 48% without him. So he's a big factor here, but he's a one-man show in a sense for Eastern Washington, which is why I don't think one guy can carry your team. I'm going with the Kansas Jayhawks. Now, Jayhawks, KU, they've righted the ship since the second part of the season. Obviously, they've played some big teams. They've had some injuries. They've had some weird things happen to them over the course of the year. February arrived, and the Jayhawks seemed to make a conscious choice to use elite defense to pull them through this final stretch of the season, and it's worked. Kansas has not surrendered more than 1 point per possession to an opponent in its 91-79 loss to West Virginia on February 6th. And they've gone 8-1 in the past 9 games. So, that being said, David McCormick averaged 16.7 points per game last 4 games. He's going to be returning. I think, the fact that they were knocked out of the Big 12 tournament, they would have done a lot better in that tournament than I think, most people would have given them credit for. I take the Jayhawks in this game.
Yeah, you're definitely right. I mean, Kansas has been playing much better, especially on the defensive side down the stretch. You talked about 8 of 9. That includes a win against Baylor, includes a win against Oklahoma State, includes a win against Oklahoma in the tournament. And their only loss was actually at Texas in overtime. So that game could have gone either way. They were ahead for most of the game and probably should have gone to double overtime, but they fumbled an easy layup at the end of the game. So they're playing much better. My concern is COVID. They're going to have 2 guys at minimum out for this game. In Tristan Inaruna, who's not he's a bench guy that gets some minutes. And then Jalen Wilson, who's a starter, leading rebounder on the team as their 4, even though he's more of a wing type player. Little inconsistent offensively, but is averaging 12 points, 8 boards. So, and then you have David McCormick, who's their only big that's really, really solid. He's going to fly out on Friday to Indianapolis because he had COVID as well. So he was out for the Big 12 tournament. He's an integral part of the team, but Bill Self's kind of talked about how they basically plan to not play with him in this first game. So I don't know if that's him bluffing or him just, he basically is just saying, we haven't had him for a while. We don't know what kind of physical shape he's going to be in. We don't know if he's going to be ready to go. So it'll be interesting to see on that. they're over. I mean, they certainly overmatch Eastern Washington. The only thing is they're not consistent shooting the ball. Kansas, it's one of the worst shooting teams from the outside they've had in a long time. So that might keep the game close, but they'll lock down Eastern Washington defensively and be too much eventually. So I absolutely think Kansas will walk through this game and get to second round matchup against USC.
Yep. All right, lock them in. KU. Going on to the next round. All right, next matchup. We got Oregon and VCU. All right, here we go. What do you got here on this this Oregon VCU matchup, Scotty?
This is going to be a fun matchup, I think, in a 7-10 spot. From VCU's vantage point, you got Nashawn Bones Highland, who the A-10 player of the year, averaging about 20 a game. He is a great three-point shooter, can really stretch the court. It sets him apart. He hits about 3 per game, so gonna be hard to guard in that sense. They got another All-10 player in Vince Williams. He's also hit more than 40 trays. They're good offensively, but they're really good defensively. They force turnovers on like 25% of their possessions on defense, which is just an insane number. I believe that was the best in the nation, actually, as far as defensively forcing turnovers. So they're a dangerous team. The problem is they vice versa, they turn the ball over on offense 21% of the time. So they create turnovers on defense, they turn the ball over on offense. Could be a back and forth, just up and down game, and with some fast break points in there. Oregon has Chris Duarte, who's just a stud, really good guard, rebound, drive, good shooter. He's just an all-around guy, one of the best players in the Pac-12 this year. So overall, Oregon had to face some injury issues this year, but they finally started to get healthy as the year went on and towards the end of the year and started playing really well. So I like Oregon a lot as a team going into this tournament, and I'm going to take them here.
All right, let's lock them in. All right, all right, Scotty, Oregon Ducks, here we go. All right. Now, for my pick on this game. Now, a lot of things going on for this this VCU Rams team. Pork Chop in the chat, all about VCU. Mayday, VCU there. Just that pesky team, and the O had way too many problems. Oregon, obviously, just having a lot of issues down the stretch there. So, yeah, understand that. Oregon's kind of been a little bit rocky there. So, as far as that goes, multiple injuries, the long pauses when it comes to different COVID, pieces of information that, kind of held up Oregon. Now, Oregon is healthy now. They have 5 players, Eugene Omori, I think is how you say it, 16 points a game. Chris Duarte, LJ Figueroa, Eric Williams, and Richardson on their team. They all have been fantastic for them. Double figures, averaging, connecting on at least 36% of their 3-point attempts for the Pac-12 regular season champions. Now, VCU, as a 10 seed, you mentioned Highland, man. He is fantastic. So as far as that goes, this is going to be a big journey for them to start out with Oregon. The Rams have finished 7-2 in their last 9 games before the Atlantic 10 tournament. They could defend. They can, they have a legit star in Highland, and they have they've regained their rhythm for the most part. They've just done a good job at getting back to that level of playing at a high, level when it comes to the postseason games. Now, as much as everyone's giving love to in the chat for VCU, I still got to lean Oregon on this one. I got to do it. That's what I have on my bracket here. I got Oregon winning this game. I just think their starting 5 is just going to be too much. I think that's going to be where this kind of separates out a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pick Oregon to take this game, and then we will be moving them on to the second round. Okay. All right, here we go. Iowa and GCU. Grand Canyon. The Antelopes, Scotty. Is this one you or me?
Yep.
Who's starting out on this one?
You're leading us off.
Oh no. Okay. So we got a couple different ways we can go with this. I don't think I'm gonna waste too much time. I'm gonna go ahead and pick Iowa. Iowa's definitely gonna be the better team in this matchup. Now, you know, Iowa, they have the best player in the country, arguably, in Luka Garza. 23 points a game, 8 rebounds, 1.6 blocks. Wooden Award favorite. So I think he's going to be the guy that's going to be carrying them a long way in this. But there's more, you know, as far as some of this goes, you know, there's more to them than that. You know, I think that they have a little bit of a better starting lineup, obviously. You know, GCU, the Grand Canyon Antelopes, as you know, they're a good story. I just don't think too many 15 seeds are going to make it this far. I'm going to keep this short and sweet, and we're going to just go Iowa here and, you know, not stretch this out too long.
Yeah, according to Ken Palm, Iowa has the second best offense in the country. They're not quite there defensively. They're kind of like they're ranked 50th according to Ken Palm in defensive presence, but offensively they're dominant. They're gonna have you can say arguably, but Luka Garza is gonna win the Wooden Award. He's gonna be Player of the Year. They have Jordan Bohannon, who's the all-time leading three-point shooter and assist guy at Iowa in their history, and then CJ Frederick, who can shoot the ball better than a lot of guys out there. So that offense is tough to guard, really difficult, and they're just gonna overwhelm Grand Canyon. And yeah, I'm gonna keep this short as well. We don't need to talk about it much. Iowa advances.
All right. Next matchup we have. So by the way, Steph Kell in the Facebook chat. Iowa for Big Ten domination, but GCU has such compelling commercials on everything. I actually haven't. I don't know about that. So you might have to tell us a little bit more about that, or you know, maybe throw a link in the chat or something along those lines. Because I definitely. Scotty, do you know anything about that?
I don't know their commercials. I know Grand Canyon's a presence, especially supposedly they have a really good sports management program. So if you're into sports and you want to get a degree in sports management, I've actually heard Grand Canyon's is pretty solid and a good option. But I have not seen the commercials.
Yeah, no, it's still definitely you know, I some of these college commercials I feel like can be pretty good. They kind of get crazy with them, but you get a lot of those commercials over the course of the tournament, you know, trying to recruit people to those various colleges. I don't know how that works with all the online schools now. Like, everyone's going online school now. I don't know. Big ups for the colleges out there for getting the online schools going. All right, so next matchup. I digress. Michigan. Now, Scotty, we have a lot of Michigan fans in our family, so I feel like their ears are perking up on this, whether or not their team's going to make it, because obviously Michigan is a strong team, you know, as far as that goes. By the way, Mayday in the chat, Iowa's way too good. This would maybe be a bigger upset if GCU somehow would win. I think it would be a massive upset if GCU won. No one expects them to win. So that would, yeah, you're right, Mayday. I think that would be a huge thing to see if something were to happen there. But as far as this matchup with Michigan goes, Scotty, what do you go here?
I'm not gonna waste people's time. I don't think anyone's ever picked a 16 to be to 1. I know it happened once with Virginia a couple years ago, but yeah, I'll go more in depth on Michigan in some future rounds, but Michigan rolls in this game. Doesn't matter who they're playing here.
I agree too. We agree with you, Steph, in the chat. Michigan, let's go blue. We are both choosing Michigan. No matter who they end up playing here, it doesn't really matter. Michigan's going to win this game, bar none. So let's go ahead. Let's lock in Michigan for each of these, and then we'll move on to the next round and get going on this one. So go ahead. Let me choose Michigan for you as well. By the way, did we decide what we're doing for our bet for this?
I don't know if we did officially.
All right.
Anyone in the chat have a good bet?
So we need a big bet for us in the chat. Now, you know, we discussed on the Wednesday show maybe like I have a little bit of a beard here. Not really a crazy beard, but we were talking about if I lose, I shave my beard. It's just the like bear skin, which I've never done before. And then Scott would have to grow his, which he's never grown a beard. So that's one option. But if you have some good ideas, throw them in the chat. We'd love to see them. So as we're going through this, by the end, we should make a bet.
We'll lock it down.
We'll lock it down. So, so that'll be fun. So, just give us some ideas. I mean, it could be anything. You let us know what you guys think you would like to see, and we'll try to make it happen there. So, all right. As far as this next matchup goes, we have the LSU Tigers and the St. Bonaventure Bonnies. Now, same kind of deal here. I don't think there's going to be a big upset when it comes to this. I'm going to save some of my insights as we move on towards the later rounds here. But I think LSU is going to walk away with this one. And actually, you know, there's a lot of people that think St. Bonnie's. I've seen a lot of expert picks that say St. Bonaventure is going to win this game. This is an 8-9 matchup. So it's not like it's going to be, you know, a for sure thing for LSU. But I do think that the LSU Tigers, you know, I mean, the SEC is having a resurgence this year, right? SEC, you got Alabama, you got Arkansas, you got LSU. You know, you got some big teams coming out of Tennessee. You had some big teams coming out of the SEC. The competition is heating up down there, and I think this isn't any of it's a little bit of surprise for me because I'm not used to seeing it. We see this in football all the time, but I'm going to go LSU. There's a lot of good teams down there. They're competing hard with those big teams. They're going to beat St. Bonaventure here. I think I'm going to take LSU.
Yeah, you were calling for not a big upset here, but the spread's only 2 on this game. So LSU is favored, but they're only favored by 2 in this 8-9 matchup. I'm like you, though. I'm going LSU. I've had LSU. I'll get into LSU a little more as we go here, like you. But for now, I'm going LSU, and I actually will be right back in 1 second.
No problem. We got you. Yeah, LSU, I think, is a little bit better, you know, in this one. You know, obviously, you know, LSU in the SEC tournaments, they won 9 in a row before suffering that 79-71 loss to LSU. Arkansas did in the SEC tournament. Tigers use the same formula that makes them a threat to advance to the second weekend. Cam Thomas, 21 points on his 20th game with over 20 or more points this season. So as far as that goes, you know, he's a stud. At one point in the second half, went over the Arkansas team in the SEC. Number 1 in offensive efficiency in SEC player Ken Pom. LSU can put up big numbers, and if it's, you know, something that can be said for them, I think they have a really, really good chance here. So it doesn't make any surprise that I think and Scotty thinks that LSU should win this game. But there are a lot of experts out there. I've, you know, when I was kind of scouring some of the various areas of the internet on some of these different expert picks, there were a handful of St. Bonaventure, you know, picks here. So it was super interesting for me to see that. Made me question my pick with LSU, but I still feel good about it. Mayday in the chat, just a question: who has the best chance to pull off a 16-1 upset in your mind? Ooh, that's a great question. So you got Baylor and Hartford. I don't see one there. The Illinois Drexel, don't see one there. Michigan, oh man, I don't know. None of them are guaranteed. Gonzaga versus either Norfolk or Appalachian State. I don't think so. You could take Gonzaga out. They're the number 1 overall seed. I don't think they're gonna fall in that. Baylor could be. I think Baylor or Michigan. Michigan is they lost one of their best players for a while here. If not for the rest of the season. And then I think Baylor has just been in a place where they've just gone a little bit downhill. They've gone the opposite direction over the course of the season. Now, I would say those two. Illinois is not going to lose to Drexel. I think they're on the hottest streak of any team, and you know, outside of, you know, a Gonzaga who's undefeated, obviously. But if you're telling me who has the best chance for an upset in the first round, I say it's Maryland. I mean, Michigan. Maryland. I'm losing my mind. Michigan. Michigan probably has the biggest chance to be upset based off of the fact that they lost one of their top players, and they're playing either Mount St. Mary's, Texas Southern. It's not likely. Don't get me wrong. Don't think I'm saying that that's going to happen, but I think if any team is going to lose of the 1 seeds, Michigan seems the most susceptible.
I would actually agree, and I had that pick before you said it. I don't think any of these are going to happen. I think it's an incredible long shot. It's only happened once ever. I don't think it'll happen this year. I don't think Michigan. But if I had to, you got a first-time coach in Juwan Howard, never been to the tournament, with a team was really hot in the middle part of the year, had the injury to Isaiah Livers. Not quite the same without him. I think Michigan's the most susceptible to loss. I agree with you that I think most people would say Michigan and Baylor are the two that aren't playing quite as well as, certainly not as well as Gonzaga and Illinois right now, but Michigan would be the team for me.
Yeah. I think it would be fascinating though to see.
Don't pick it though, Mayday. Pick it.
Don't pick it. Yeah. Michigan is probably going to win that game no matter what. Baylor's going to win their game no matter what. And then Illinois and Gonzaga they're not going to lose. So, knock on wood. I don't even need to knock on wood, I don't think. Watch that. That's going to get clipped somewhere, and I'm going to get just roasted. So this next one, I don't even know who's first on this one, but we were talking before the stream started. We live in Colorado, so CU's a big one here. Both of us have gone back and forth on who we think is going to win this game. And originally I had the Bulldogs. I had Georgetown to take this game. Now I switched over. I was back and forth, and then all of a sudden I feel like I should be picking Colorado because I don't want to pick with my heart. I want to pick with my head. Mayday, I'm clipping it when it happens. Don't do it. Don't do it, Mayday.
Do that.
He's gonna clip it for sure.
Yep.
Mayday, I got Georgetown in this game, by the way. Beat my Cats in the Big East tourney. Yeah. By the way, Mayday, how do you feel about them in this? Colorado, for me, has been. Is it my turn to pick first?
Go ahead. I think because I think it's mine, but it'd be nice to switch up because then I'm always picking like the 116, the 512. So let's mix it up. Go ahead.
Okay, so, oh my gosh, so Colorado, I wasn't impressed with how they played against Oregon State in the Pac-12 championship. I felt like they should have put them away a lot easier than they did. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Georgetown ended up winning big in their tournament. They just cruised, and they didn't even have an issue with anybody on that team. As far as that goes, Coach Patrick Ewing's got them, playing really, really well. The Hoyas were an 8 seed with no at-large hopes after finishing 9-12 in the regular season, and then they had this special moment happen. And so, as far as this goes, we'll see if, Javon Blair, 15 points per game, Dante Harris, 11 points in the Big East tournament. If their teammates can keep the magic going. Either way, this is one of the better stories, in this tournament as far as Georgetown getting to where they are. Meanwhile, CU has had more of a, solid season overall. This is a coin flip for me. I had Georgetown initially. But we're going Colorado, guys. We're going Colorado. We're going the hometown team. We're picking Colorado. We're picking the 5 seed here. As much as I would love to pick Georgetown, and I did have them as my 5-12 upset, I'm going Colorado. Honestly, I didn't even have them on my bracket. It was empty because I know who's going to beat either of these teams in the next round anyway. I just didn't have it filled in, but I have it filled in now. Colorado is going to win this game.
All right. This is a game, obviously, Georgetown. This is an ironic game for me as a Colorado State alum because these two teams cost Colorado State a berth. These two teams, Georgetown, if they don't go and make a run and win their tournament, they're not making it. And if Colorado beats Oregon State in the Pac-12 final, Oregon State's not making it. And Colorado State was the second team left off. So a part of me feels like CU gave an old FU to Colorado State by losing. I mean, CU leads the nation in free throw percentage at 83%. And then in a 2-point loss to Oregon State, they went 12 of 20 for 60% from the line. I think they have the best player on the floor in this game. Colorado does, with McKinley Wright. It's hard for me. I know Georgetown played really well. They obviously killed, like I talked about, Creighton in that, beat Villanova in a tight one and then killed Creighton in the final. So some good wins there. But for me, I think Colorado deserves to be a top 25 team in this country. And I think this game is a popular pick for Georgetown to win. A lot of people are taking Georgetown, but I'm with you. Maybe it's just my heart's in Colorado. Even though they screwed my Rams, I'll still cheer for the Buffs, and I'm going Buffs here.
Keep in mind, Colorado in KenPom is 17th overall in ranking. Georgetown's 55th. So that was kind of, another aspect of, man, there's a lot between the difference between 55 and 17 is a lot. So, I mean, but I also know how Colorado can choke things away. So I don't feel great about Colorado in this game picking them, but I got Colorado. We both got Colorado. Hey, let's go. See you, baby. Let's go. Go Boulder. Go Buffs. Sco Buffs. Let's go. All right. Next one here. This one shouldn't take too long, but Scotty, who do you got?
Yeah, I'm taking Florida State. Florida State's just athletic. Florida State's always been an athletic team. They guard 1 through 5. They switch everything on defense. Their 5 can guard a 1. Their 4 can guard a 2. Like, it does not matter. They switch it all. They guard tight. They're athletic from 1 to 5. They're quick. They're going to be tough for UNC Greensboro to score. UNC Greensboro has obviously Isaiah Miller at the point position, 2-time Southern Conference Player of the Year. And he put up 25, 10, and 6 against Mercer and that's the first time a point guard has done that in that conference since a guy named Damian Lillard. Those types of stats. So he's an athletic freak. He's not a shooter. He's a scorer. He doesn't shoot from deep, but he's super athletic, super jumpy. He's not going to be enough though. Florida State wins this game.
Yeah. Florida State, obviously, they are just. We're going to talk about this a little bit more as we go on. But, as far as they go, most efficient offensive team, 40% from the three-point line, along with a defense that led the league in 45% percentage clip inside the arc for opposing teams. So, with that being said, that's a heck of a team. They're big. Like, those guys are big athletic guys on that team. I was watching a couple of those games towards the end of the season, and man, like, it's hard to match up with that size. So it's hard for me not to go against. It's hard for me to not pick FSU here. Actually, I have them going fairly far, and we'll see how far I have them going in my bracket. But they're going to be making some. They're going to be making some moves here. Mayday in the chat. I think the Cats beat Winthrop and Purdue, but lose to Baylor. By the way, to answer your question before, yeah, okay.
Talking about Nova there.
Yep.
We'll see when we get to those picks.
Yeah. No.
I'm not saying anything, but don't hate us if we don't agree.
All right, here we go. So we got both on board with Florida State here. All right, so now here we go here's kind of a weird one. Now, I think, let's see, you picked the last one, so it's me first on this round?
Yep.
All right, so I have on this game an interesting, kind of scenario here. Now, you have Michigan State and UCLA in this game, which I think, and everyone's kind of said this is going to be one of those big playing games, more so than like the first round games or whatever. So BYU, I'm pretty familiar with, obviously, because they play in the WCC with Gonzaga. Played really, really strong in that final game in the WCC tournament. As far as the halftime deficit, the Cougars led by 12 in that game. Ended up fading and falling off in that and losing to Gonzaga by 10. Obviously, Gonzaga is the best team in the country. Now, if you look at the UCLA and the Michigan State Spartans, if you remember last week, we had C. Stemper in the chat talking about the Michigan State Spartans going all the way. I think I'm all over the place. The Michigan State Spartans were going to win this playing game. And not only going to win this playing game, I think they're going to end up beating BYU because, you can't really go against Izzy. Izzy, right, Scotty? Tom.
Good old Izzy.
Good old Izzy.
Just siding with your mother-in-law.
Tom Izzo is strong in the tournament. And I think his, experience, everything he's gone through in the tournament, he's been here, he's done that. I think he's going to get his team ready to play. I think they're going to beat UCLA, and I also think they're strong enough to take down a BYU team. Joey Hauser, Aaron Henry programs, many first-round prospects of the past, plus, all the experience. Then Michigan State beat Illinois, Ohio State, Michigan in the final month of the regular season. I don't know. I just think Michigan State's going to end up taking this one. So that's where I'm going here. I'm going to go this split with the Spartans and the Bruins, and I'm going to take the Spartans.
But in essence, you get the Bruins as well, right?
Well,
You're just taking the winner of that game.
Exactly.
Taking the winner of that game.
Correct.
Okay. Because Michigan State's only favored by 2 over UCLA, and I feel like the entire world is picking Michigan State in that game. So that leaves me a little hesitant. UCLA down the stretch was not good. They lost, I think, their last 4 games. All of them close affairs, but they couldn't pull it out in the stretch. Losers of 4 straight is not how you want to enter a tournament, but I don't know. I think everyone is in love with Michigan State, and I kind of agree with you. I mean, obviously, Izzo, when he gets rolling, they're really good. Michigan State's I think they beat Michigan. I think they beat Ohio State this year. So when they're good, they also beat Illinois. So they beat all 2 1 seeds and a 2 seed. So when they're playing at their best, they're really good. But they're crazy inconsistent. So now we're asking them to win 2 games, even though technically you get UCLA in there too. But it's tough to trust. I'm conflicted in this game. I was gonna go Michigan State, then you pick Michigan State. All right.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna go Spartans. That was very difficult for me. That was very difficult for me, but I'm going Spartans.
I was gonna say, I was like, are you gonna switch it up on me? You gonna go something different?
I thought about it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. So Spartans it is. Lock it in. Go Sparty. All right. The next one. All right. Kick us off. We got UT, which very good team, against ACU in this matchup.
Yeah, UT Big 12 tournament champs. They play fast. They're getting up the court really quickly. They're athletic. They're guards and Matt Coleman, Andrew Jones, Courtney Ramey. Really good. Jericho Sims is a presence inside, especially on the defensive end. He can, play above the rim, rebound, block shots. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know a ton about Abilene Christian. So I'm going to leave this short. I don't know a lot about them, but I don't see them beating this Texas team. And I'm thinking Texas rolls here.
All you got to say is Shaka Smart. Shaka Smart. That's all you need.
I think he's a garbage coach.
He's going to get him there. As far as that goes, he's turning the corner. As far as that goes, he fitting for a program that swept Kansas, by the way. Oh,
That's true.
in the regular season and gained the momentum with an 8-2 rally over its last 10 in the Big 12 tournament. So, obviously, we're not going to be messing around with no Abilene Christian.
I think that's the only team to sweep Kansas this year. So
Yeah, no, that's very true.
Props Texas.
That's very true. So I'm going to go with you on this one. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. We're going to move on to Michigan or Maryland and UConn. But I think we both have pretty good confidence in Texas to make that a big win for them. So, all right, let's dive in. Now we have Maryland here. Now Maryland's been a weird one for me. Maryland has been kind of like up and down. Every time they're kind of in the same boat as Michigan for me, where every time I turn on the TV, everyone's telling me how good Maryland is. And all of a sudden I watch them, and then they just kind of shit the bed. By the way, Mayday, you're on Texas. Shots fired at Kansas. Yeah, no, I'm surprised shots fired didn't come back as a retaliation on that one. You just let it go.
You didn't tell a lie. You didn't tell a lie. And in fact, they're technically 3-0 against Kansas due to the forfeit in the Big 12 tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
If they played again, Kansas would beat the shit out of them. Just
okay, all right. I got it. Defend your boys. Maryland is kind of a weird one for me. Its resume is boosted by road wins against Illinois and Wisconsin. Wisconsin isn't exactly a great team this year, obviously, but beyond those two games, Maryland largely beat the teams that it had to beat to get into the field. But the Terps finished with 11th in offensive efficiency in the league, according to KenPom. They got swept by Penn State, lost Northwestern, some weird teams to lose to, which is why I'm just like not super high on Maryland here. I'm looking at UConn, and they've just been a little bit better for me. Now, overall, the team went 5-1 after, their James Bouknight return from an elbow injury. He's been absolutely credible, 19.4 points per game. So from that standpoint, I don't know. I just think, UConn passes the test for me as far as being the better team in this matchup. I'm going to lean towards UConn, but it's still, you never know what you're getting with Maryland, but I'm going to stick with UConn.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the alternate way here. I'm taking Maryland.
Okay.
Maryland. I think Maryland's better defensively. You talked about James Bouknight for UConn. He's an NBA guard. He's going to be really solid on the next level, but he's going up against the Big Ten defensive player of the year, and Daryl Morsell for Maryland, who's just a lockdown defender, better than anyone Bouknight's had to play this year. I think he'll shut him down, and when you shut him down, I think UConn's going to really struggle to score. Maryland can also shoot the three really well. They have three guys that each hit over 44% from three, that play a lot of minutes for them. When you got 3-point shooters and you play strong defense, I like that combo. Coming out of the Big Ten, I feel they're just more battle tested, and they're just a tougher team than UConn is. So give me Maryland in this matchup.
All right, there we go. Mixing it up here. We're going to go through this one quickly. I don't think there's going to be too much of there's a good story here, with Iona coming back. The Gales are back. What the hell's a Gale? I don't know.
Stop it.
That's something we get that a lot with St. Mary's too, in the WCC. But Iona, great story. But I just don't think they're going to be any competition for an Alabama team that's just killing it. So overall, they're unbelievable. I think Alabama's going to win this game by a lot. So go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and lock in Alabama.
I did not research this game. I don't know a single player on Iona, and so with that, I'm going to take Alabama. Really good analysis there.
Yeah.
Really good analysis. I just, I'm not going to waste time here. I think Alabama rolls there. Can I say Alabama rolls, or do I have to say roll tide?
You have to say roll tide.
I don't want to.
So hey, if you wanted to see him say Roll Tide, throw Roll Tide in the chat. Scotty, Roll Tide. Let's go, Roll Tide.
Nope.
Oh man, you're just gonna leave me hanging on that, huh?
Mayday says Iona has the best chance for a 15-2 seed upset, which could be. I honestly, I don't know a ton about Iona. I hadn't watched them. Don't know who their dangerous guys are, but you know, I don't think I've ever in any bracket picked a 1 or a 2 seed to lose. You just can't do it because it never happens.
Horace Parker. Pork chop. Scotty, Roll Tide.
You calm down there, pork chop, or we'll bring out some stories.
Oh, Debicola. No, the Roll Tide is spamming in the chat. It's spamming in the chat. Let's go. Keep it spamming. Let's go. I love to see it. Keep it rolling, guys. All right. So we have this GU Gonzaga versus Oklahoma. I'm not going to waste time. I'm going to pick Gonzaga. Keep it simple. Is it my turn? I think it's my turn.
It's not your turn.
All right, go ahead.
Hey,
go ahead.
You do you. I'm taking Oklahoma. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I'm taking Gonzaga here. They're too much offensively. Oklahoma won't be able to keep up in a game. Maybe they'll keep it close for first, 15, maybe even a whole half. But Gonzaga runs away by double digits here.
All right. So Scotty, you getting some defense in the chat?
Am I? Scotty, don't say it. Yeah, thank you, Mayday. You're right. I'm not gonna say it because why would I? First of all, we've talked about this. I'm not gonna cheer for a football powerhouse to have any success in basketball because that's just greedy and selfish. I don't like it.
I love it. All right, so now we're getting into some different picks here. We have some change.
Are we even on the same game right now?
No, because you picked some different teams to win.
I know.
And I am going to go ahead. I have a Creighton and Virginia matchup. Now, here's the thing. Virginia didn't have a lot of momentum coming in, but if they get that first win, I have a feeling that's going to get their momentum back in the swing of things. From that Virginia win over Ohio, I think they're going to be in a good place. Back on track from where they were previously to their tournament. And I think they're going to get another big win against Creighton here. Creighton could get upset in the first round, which is another reason why, I don't have that, but a lot of people do. I still think Virginia has a chance to win here. I think Virginia ends up beating Creighton in this matchup and moving on to the next round.
I don't like Creighton or Virginia here because I have the Gauchos versus the Ohio Bobcats in a 12-13 matchup. So I'm going bold. I know what I'm doing here.
Oh, P-Nix.
This is a bold choice.
P-Nix in the chat has the same thing.
Well, he said that he has USCB over Ohio. Hold that phone because I'm taking the Bobcats.
Woo!
I'm taking Ohio. You give me the man that Jay Bliss labeled the LaMelo of the bracket. Give me the best player on the court. Ohio, last time they made it in 2012. This is super relevant because why not? They made the Sweet 16 in 2012. Last time they entered the tournament. Let's go, Bobcats. I love saying the word Gauchos. Don't get me wrong. I'm taking Bobcats. Let's go.
Gauchos. Those what are they? The horse riders?
Skilled horsemen.
Skilled horsemen. I'm sorry. Sorry for the Gauchos. Skilled horsemen. Let's go. All right, so you got Ohio though. No, not giving the skilled horsemen.
I got a 13 seed. I got your Zags facing a 13 in the Sweet 16. You're welcome.
All right, Ohio it is. Bobcats. All right, so we both have the same matchup here. Oh shoot, what did I do? Sorry, I messed that up.
I can't answer that question for you.
So we have KU and SC here. Now, with KU and SC, I have, as far as this goes, KU beating...
You're stealing it's my turn.
Oh, my bad.
You basically already revealed it, but I think you know where I'm headed here. I can't pick up against my Jayhawks just yet. I'm taking Kansas. We talked about it before, 8 of 9. USC hasn't beat. They played a lot of good teams. Don't have a lot of great wins. They did beat Oregon in a game. They squeaked one out in one of their last games against UCLA by a point. You know, not a lot of great wins otherwise. They were 0-3 against our Colorado Buffs this season, including the conference tournament. They just, when they played the better teams, like they're ranked high in KenPom. They're actually ranked higher in KenPom than Kansas is. I think USC is 14, Kansas is 22, but KenPom takes into account a lot of winning margin, and I feel like USC is really good at beating up on the bad teams, but not as good at taking care of when they play the better teams. And I think Kansas is more battle tested. I think Bill Self's gonna, out coach him. And even though they got COVID concerns, sounds like Jalen Wilson, one of the guys I talked about that will be out for sure on Saturday, is going to fly out on Monday with the hopes that maybe he'll be available. McCormick at that point will have a little more time to be ready to go. And I think KU takes care of USC, and I'm taking the Jayhawks.
Boom, there we go. Sorry, I had to reset your bracket. It erased for a minute.
I hope you didn't make any of the wrong picks. I'm going to check that later.
No, it's all good. We are set. So I obviously have
P Nixon in the chat. He said I picked Ohio to win, so we're on the same page. Ohio making the Sweet 16.
All right, so both of us have Iowa and Oregon here. I still think Iowa's the better team between these two. I think they're going to be too much for Oregon. Oregon still not exactly where I think they should be to compete against Iowa. Iowa, again, they're going to be one of the better teams in the tournament. They are currently ranked, 5th in KenPom? A lot lower than that. I think Oregon's 36th overall. So I'm just going to take Iowa. Keep it short and simple.
I talked about, though, how Oregon has had a lot of injuries and a lot of stuff they're dealing with where they haven't had. So KenPom doesn't reflect, obviously, playing without guys. It's just strictly, a numbers thing. Oregon, before they lost to Oregon State, where they just could not shoot the ball to save their life, played terribly offensively against Oregon State. Prior to that, they had won, let me count it up, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of 12 prior to that game. They did lose at USC, but playing a ton of tournament teams. It was kind of a weaker part of their Pac-12 conference. They did beat Colorado in that stretch. And earlier on, they did lose at Colorado, so they split there. I don't know. I gotta. In those games they won every one of those games, minus, the last 5 wins they had there, they won by double digits. So they weren't just winning; they were winning against Pac-12 teams, including UCLA, by double digits, and Oregon State by 13 before they lost in the tournament to them by 11 in a game where they just, like I said, just had an awful shooting performance, very uncharacteristic. I feel like you're just going chalk all day, and I'm picking upsets, but I'm gonna continue on here. I'm taking the Ducks.
Ducks. Okay, go Oregon. Where's your boy from Oregon here to chime in the chat? We wish he was here.
Yeah, Mikey, where you at?
Where's Mikey?
I don't know if you're here now.
All right, taking Oregon. Okay, all right. We both have the same matchups here. Michigan LSU. Is this me or you?
I think it's me.
Go ahead.
I think it's me. And this is where my bracket. Oh man, I feel like I've got crazy with this bracket already, but you only live once, And I look at this game, and I look at an LSU team, and let me pull it up. I had it a second ago. An LSU team that's just did not play a lick of defense the first part of the season. But really turned it up the last half of the season. I gotta pull it up. Sorry, I'm not prepared. I had this up and I closed it.
I mean, LSU 18-9 right now. As far as they go, they're ranked 29th overall in rankings in the KenPom. As Michigan, though, Michigan has been, fantastic. over the course of the season. Number 2, Ken Palm overall, 20 and 4 overall. So there's a lot. Let me just chime in here. I'm gonna go ahead.
Yep.
I'm gonna pick Michigan in this one. I'm gonna jump the gun here.
Chalk.
Chalk wins brackets, son.
Fine, but it's not fun. It's not fun. It's just not fun.
Yeah, no, I think overall, I think this is going to be one of those where I just don't see, I don't know if I see Michigan losing this game. I think that Michigan is a stronger team here. Even though they're missing their top player, I still think it's a team game, right? They have to play, with who they got. LSU's kind of been susceptible on defense. I don't know. Maybe they get a little bit tired down the stretch of the season, but I just think, for me, I think Michigan is going to be that team that's going to advance from this round here.
Okay. I basically teased it, and I wasn't kidding. That I'm taking the Tigers here. I'm taking LSU.
Oh.
I think LSU, if you just look at straight talent, is probably actually more talented than Michigan. LSU is scary talented. Like I said, they weren't playing great defense. They've kind of figured it out. I brought up their schedule now. They lost, to Alabama by a point at the end in the conference tournament. Alabama obviously being the 2 seed. They beat Arkansas in that tournament. They beat Ole Miss in that tournament, who was a borderline team. They beat Missouri on the road before that. They have a win against Tennessee. They've been super hot down the stretch, and I think they figured it out. And I like them to get the upset here. I think Michigan without Isaiah Livers has, historically, I think they've been 6-6 or 7-7, something like that. Without him, dating back to last year.
Not great.
Because he just got hurt. I think they're a better defensive team, Michigan is, but I think this is going to be a very, very tight game. I would love, and I should look up the points right now. Well, they don't have the points because it's a second round matchup. I would love to see what the spread is here, and I would love to bet on Michigan with the points that they're getting, because I think this one's going to be tight. And I decided a lot of fun to pick a 1-8 upset, which I almost never do, but I'm taking LSU.
All right, got you locked in LSU. All right, we both have a CU FSU matchup. This one's where P. Nix is going to pop in. He's going to have CU popping in and winning this game. For me, I don't have CU winning this game. This is where I think the CU Buffs' luck runs out. As much as I hate to say it, I don't think they're going to be able to make it much further than FSU. FSU, as we mentioned, fantastic team. Top to bottom, their size, their athleticism. I just think they're going to outpower a CU. I'm going to go FSU in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm going to take Florida State too. Partially because I think Colorado has the tougher first round matchup. So I'm not certain Colorado gets by in that first round. So it's hard for me to take them in the second round, So even though I think if they do make it past Georgetown, this game will be super competitive, and I think it'll be a really close game. I think the fact that Florida State...
The next one here, we got the Texas Longhorns against the, for me, Michigan State team. And on this one, I'm going Texas. I got to go Texas here. I think they're going to be the stronger team in this matchup. Michigan State, as much as we love them, they're still not up to speed with some of these other teams. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pick Texas. We're going to keep this quick and sweet.
Yeah, similar to what I talked about. Obviously, Michigan State, who we're both picking, has to win 2 games, or UCLA in this version of the bracket. 2 tough games, one against Michigan State and UCLA, and then against BYU. I think Texas has an easy road to get here. I think Texas is battle-tested, playing really well down the stretch, super athletic, and more consistent than either of these teams. So I'm taking the Longhorns as well.
All right. So let's see. So I'll take the Longhorns for both of us. All All right. Now we have a little bit of a different matchup here based off of what we have on our brackets. Now, I have a UConn Alabama matchup, whereas you have a why do I always hear like Michigan in my head? Maryland.
It's a turtle.
Turtle. Terps.
Or a terrapin.
A terrapin. We have those terrapins against your Alabama Crimson Tide. Roll Tide. I know you. There's a lot of people spamming the Roll Tide in the chat. Now, here's where I think UConn's luck runs out. I think Alabama is going to roll Tide through UConn and get this win. Again, one of the best offenses, one of the best defenses. The way they've been playing recently, it's just been unreal. I just think they're hard to the way they play. I don't think UConn can hang with them. I think Alabama wins this game.
Yeah, I think Alabama definitely would beat UConn if those teams matched up. Unfortunately, UConn doesn't get by Maryland, and Maryland's in this matchup. So with that, I am taking the Alabama Crimson Tide. I think these teams are pretty even matchup defensively, but I think Alabama has the more potent offense, a little more firepower, and so give me the Elephants to move forward here. But I will not say it. I will not say it.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Alabama, Roll Tide. All right, here we go. GU, I have them against Virginia. You have them against a weaker Ohio team, or not weaker, because you've been saying that they're the best team in the tournament.
They have LaMelo Ball on their team.
They have LaMelo Ball, and they cannot be stopped. LaMelo Ball.
Yep.
I'm gonna keep this quick and simple. It's on my sweatshirt here. We're going Gonzaga.
This one's tough for me. I'm just kidding. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm taking Zags here. I went on a limb, obviously, with Ohio. We'll see if it happens. I hope it does. I hope I get to spit in your face. That's aggressive. That's probably too much. But, yeah, I'm taking Zags here. Pretty much a no-brainer.
Okay. All right. There we go. Gonzaga it is. All right. Here we go. We are going to go into KU. I have KU and Iowa matchup. You have a KU and Oregon matchup. Now, from here, this was a tough one for me. Well, actually, no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yep.
It's your turn to go first.
I think both teams were playing a lot better down the stretch. I think both these teams in KU and Oregon could win this game. I think this game would be super tight. Oregon broke KU's heart a few years ago in a tournament in I think it might have been the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8 where KU was heavily favored in that one. They'd probably be slight favorites in this one, but I can't quite pick against my Jayhawks yet. I wanna see our teams play.
All right, so you got the Jayhawks.
I do.
All right, so we'll go ahead, lock them in for you. KU. All right, there it is.
You got Iowa has a lower number next to it, so you probably got Iowa.
Absolutely, I got Iowa because I think Iowa's the best team here in this matchup. Iowa, I think, is going to be too much for KU in this. I just think, top to bottom, they have one of the best players in the country. Still, that all stands true. I'm going to pick Iowa to beat KU and play Gonzaga in the next round. So go ahead, lock in Iowa for me. This is where, KU, based off of their season, I feel like that would be a win, even if they made it that far.
Yeah, no, I feel like I won't be terribly disappointed as long as they make the Sweet 16. Sweet 16, they need to make. Past that, I'd probably be fine with regardless, especially with a KU team that's the least talented team they've had, or at least one of two least talented teams they've had in the last 20 years. So,
yep.
Still making an Elite 8. That's how good we are.
All right, so here we go. We have a matchup within the bottom east corner of the bracket. We're almost halfway through, guys. hang with us. We're almost there. We're going to take a little break after this first half of the bracket, and then we're going to get into the second half here soon. So I have Michigan against FSU. So Florida State and Michigan. This is going to be a tough one. This was a one that I was really kind of going back and forth on. Again, to be missing some guys, especially your best player, I think Michigan's going to be really needing that at this point in the tournament. Whereas FSU is a physical, fast, big, athletic team. I ended up going up with FSU here to beat Michigan. So Michigan, I'm sorry to all the fam that we have watching, if we have them watching at all. Michigan's going to hit a roadblock with FSU. I think FSU ends up taking this game.
Yeah. I obviously don't have Michigan in this game. I have LSU with the huge upset, and I've talked about how it's hard to pick a team once you pick them upset to continue on and do all this stuff. But I'm going to do it anyway. I'm taking the Tigers. I'm taking them to beat the Seminoles. I think either of these teams, this would be a close to toss-up game. I think talent-wise, LSU is one of the most, to make the bet on LSU to make the Final Four, I think is like at 14-1. I think that's a really solid bet to throw a little bit of money on, not a lot, just a little money on there at 14-1. I think LSU's as talented as almost any team in the country, certainly anyone in that region. So I'm gonna hope that LSU can play up to potential and can win some games, and I'm gonna take that 8 seed to make the Elite Eight.
Ooh, LSU, huh? All right,
doing it.
Locking in LSU. Okay, here we go. UT and Alabama. Let's see. I went first last time. You're up. Let's go ahead. Pick your UT Alabama matchup.
This one's a tough one for me, honestly. I could see this one going either way. I think this would be a tight game. Alabama's one of the best defensive teams in the country. I think Ken Pom has them ranked the second best defensive team in the country. And I think defense plays, the things that play in the tournament a lot of times are guard play, outside shooting, and then your defense. The problem with outside shooting is it can leave for one game, as I talked about, I think on Sunday, and you're out. So I like teams that can play tight, like lockdown defense, play really well, because even if you're not shooting the ball well, you're holding the other team back. So I'm going to take where I thought initially in this bracket I'd take Texas. I'm taking Bama here.
Yeah, I'm going to make this quick. I'm going to go Bama. I don't think I think Texas had a great run. I think this is where it ends. I don't think Alabama is going to be one of those teams that's going to be falling to a Texas team. Honestly, I think Alabama is just one of the creams of the crop of this entire tournament. As far as Texas goes, over the last 10, 8-2 over the last 10 in the Big 12 championship, they're great. But I mean, the way that Alabama plays, it's hard to go against how they've been just rolling tide. Roll Tide. Let's go.
Unbelievable how you forced that in there.
Alabama, we both got Alabama beating Texas. So let's go ahead and get that out of the way. And then we are to the final quadrant of this half of the bracket. So Alabama for you. Let's lock that in. Now we have two different teams here. I have Iowa. You have GU and KU. My turn to go first on this one. So honestly, for me, it's on the sweatshirt. I've told you this in previous streams, and I've told you this on previous shows. I don't believe in Iowa. I do believe that they're a good team, and I do believe that they could beat a lot of the teams that we've had them beat up until this point. Gonzaga is one of those teams that has beat them early on in the season, and they did it convincingly. So I think in this game, they're not going to be scared of a team they've already beat. I don't think they're going to overlook them, because that's not how a Mark Few team goes into games. I think this is a game that GU is going to win. I think they're going to, maybe it's going to be a little closer than I would expect it to be, but I think GU is going to beat Iowa to advance to the final four here in this tournament.
Yeah, we both have rematches of games that had already happened where Gonzaga pulled out both these games somewhat convincingly. I know with Kansas, they won by 12. It was the opener for both teams, first game of the season. It was a 102-90 game. I think if they played again, there'd be about 50 less points scored. Like, there's no way they're getting anywhere near those numbers. Both teams just went off. I think Jalen Suggs, like after that first game, you anointed Jalen Suggs as the borderline messiah. Like, he is the greatest player to ever exist. I think he had 24 in that game. Kispert had 23. Timmy had 25. There's their three studs, all eclipsing 20. They probably didn't do that in another game all year. But Kansas also is inconsistent offensively, and to score 90 is pretty surprising for them. So, but in the end, Gonzaga's the better team. Gonzaga's more equipped to offensively. They just have way more weapons, way better offensively. Defensively, it's probably pretty close. Kansas might even be a little better defensively, but it's not going to matter in this one as Gonzaga heads to the Final Four.
All right, Gonzaga, lock it in. All right, the bottom half of this bracket, east side. We're going the bottom east quadrant. I have an FSU Alabama matchup. You have an LSU Alabama matchup.
I'm up.
You're up. Go for it.
I'm up.
And chat, by the way, chat. I know chat's been kind of quiet a little bit. Let us know your thoughts on where we're at right now, what you think is going to happen. If you think these teams, if we're absolutely off with our picks, let us know so we can maybe adjust them a little bit. Who knows?
I have a rematch of, I believe, the SEC championship game, if I'm not mistaken. LSU, Alabama. Alabama won 80-79 in a
close
game. That went back and forth. LSU led for quite a bit of it, and Alabama kind of came back down the stretch and took care of it.
Oof. Are you gonna roll Tide?
I'm honestly conflicted. I wanna be so bold. I want to be so bold.
Let's hear it, Scotty. Roll Tide.
No, I'm not even certain of that. I know you're taking the Tide. Well, I don't want to spoil yours, but I feel like you're probably going Roll Tide here. Give me the Tigers.
Tigers, LSU. Okay.
Roll Tide nonsense. I know it's a crazy pick, picking an 8 seed, but you only live once, and LSU obviously proved down the stretch that they can compete with anybody, and they probably should have won that game against Alabama. So I think they're more talented than Alabama. I know Alabama has a great D, but I think I'm taking LSU.
Chat, we've been trying to get Scotty to say Roll Tide. If we can get 3 or 4 people spamming Roll Tide in the chat, I would love to see it, just so that Scotty can just.
How about the Tide is gonna roll over against LSU? Does that work?
I'm gonna say Roll Tide over FSU. I think FSU is gonna be the toughest match. This is hard for me to pick. Honestly, Florida State is a scary, scary team. And I almost picked them to beat Bama early on when I was thinking about this, like yesterday, the day before. I had FSU on the cusp, but I had to go back with my gut. I still think Alabama's going to be up there. I think Alabama's going to win this game, but it's not going to be a easy game for them to win. It's going to be, if you're betting this, bet the under. I think this one's going to be potentially like one of those games that just like is a sloppy, game that, I don't know. I just think Alabama's going to end up eking it out. I'll take Alabama in this game to make it to the next round. So, Alabama, Roll Tide. We have them going. So, I have a Gonzaga, Bama Final Four with these two teams. You have a Gonzaga, LSU Final Four with these two teams. Now, it's my turn to go first here. Obviously, I think the best team in the country is still Gonzaga. I think they have – it's hard to stop a team with a Corey Kispert that can hit threes just out of nowhere after being down 10, 12 points in this first half. Again, that's BYU. I get that. So, not a great team, but they're going to have a challenge against Alabama, and I think they're going to be able to push past that, get Alabama out of the game plan, and push to the championship game. So I got Gonzaga beating Alabama in the Final Four to make it to the championship game.
Yeah, we're gonna be on the same page here. I can't continue to go with an 8 seed all the way to the national championship. I've done enough. I've already decided your bracket's probably gonna win this, but every time my upset picks, since you don't have any, win, I'm gonna throw it in your face, and it's gonna work everything to me.
I can't wait.
So, but in this matchup, yeah, I'm going Zags. They're far more skilled. I don't know if they're probably not more athletic, but they're more skilled offensively, and they're so hard to guard, and they'll take care of LSU.
All right. So we have Gonzaga on our left side of the bracket, locked in. Both of us have the same team. We got there in different ways, but we are there. So Gonzaga is our representative for one half of the bracket. Now we are going to take a quick break, and we're going to get into the other half of the bracket. We're going to go through this and try to get through, so we can get you guys to bed. We know it's a weeknight. We know it's a Wednesday. So hang with us while we just get through, and then we're going to start off with the Baylor Bears in the first round here. So hang tight, and we will be back with you in 1 minute. Don't go anywhere.